to all the staff and to our colleagues here. I want to wish you happy Christmas. Minister, everyone is on about figures of tonnages and what we have to come down to percentages, what we're over our emission targets. Can you make it available to the deputies here? The deputies has a facility to talk to the people that do this number crunching, because everybody in Ireland is talking about carbon and they're talking about figures, but no one understands how we're getting to the number crunching of it all. And I am asking you, can we as deputies be facilitated that we can talk to the people that's doing this number crunching and that we can understand how they come to the figures? You talked about forestry there, that we cannot put in more than 26 or 28 million tonnes or whatever. It is damnable that trees grown since 1990 across this country are being left to one side because they cannot be counted now. That is damnable. And whoever is doing the number crunching, we better do it right. And all I am asking is that for any public rep that's interested in learning how it's done, to understand it better, because it's been written about in media, it's been written about everywhere, and everyone is talking about it, but no one, when you ask them the question, understands how did we come to 80 million tonnes or 20 million tonnes? Can that be facilitated by you or your department in, be it a list of people for the different sectors that we can contact, and that they will sit down, if we want, and tell us how it's been brought to that? Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Yeah, well, the EPA is the body who does, if you like, the number crunching, and they publish their reports, and they're available, obviously, to the committee to appear before the committee and present their numbers. The SEAI do the number crunching for energy alone. So, if you just want the energy side of things as opposed to the wider piece, they do that. The position in relation to the SEAI or the EPA do that as well. They do the evaluation. But the position in relation to what they calculate is what are the emissions from agriculture that arise from methane, nitrogen oxides, and so on, urea, the whole lot. That's what they calculate, and that's what Teagasc has done, if you like, an estimate of how you start to reduce those emissions. The question of land use and forestry is much more complicated. And as I understand it, and I'm happy to make any official available to talk to deputies, but as I understand it, we don't have in our inventories an accurate assessment of how land use is either sequestering carbon or releasing it. Like, depending on how you plough land, it releases carbon. Depending on how you do a whole lot of things, we don't do that detailed inventory. We don't track every acre of land and see what was happened this year versus last year and what carbon might have been emitted by the way it was harvested this year. That's not done, nor is there the same counting of every tree and every carbon sequestration that each tree might give, or the loss of carbon from draining bogs. We don't do that level of inventory analysis. It's very difficult to do. I think the science is imperfect. So what has happened, as I understand it, is a figure of the 26.8 credit was granted to Ireland in reference to our historic planting levels. And part of that has to be earned over the next 10 years. I think about four out of the 26 have to be earned. We have to show changes to show that we're delivering that credit. So we're making enough changes that the credit is justifiably being assigned to us. But it's not as accurate a science, that credit, as the rest of the inventory. That's my understanding. But I'll be happily get you the people to talk to you.
Gentlemen, are we happy to proceed, or do you want to, you're okay? So if that's okay, Minister.
Yeah, no,
I'll ask
thanks
you to
very
make
much
your
indeed, and
concluding-
happy Christmas.
do you want to make
Oh,
a
no,
concluding statement?
no, I don't think so. No, I mean, I just, like, I think we will be back to this, you know, with the climate bill. When we produce it, we'll be in the committee, and, you know, I'm happy to share as much as I can. You know, this is, it's a challenging area. A lot of this stuff, even the science and understanding it and doing the modelling is you know, speculative. So it's not as perfect a science as you might like, but I'm happy to share, and I thank deputies and indeed yourself, Cathaoirleach, and the staff of the chamber for their tolerance to stay here to this hour.